The original No Kings protest was 250 years ago. Americans decided they didn't want to live under the rule of King George III. They declared their independence and fought a bloody war for democracy. We've had 2.5 centuries of democracy since then, often challenging, sometimes messy, always essential. And we fought in 2 world wars to preserve it. Now we have a would-be king who wants to take it away, King Donald I. That. We're rising up again this time, non-violently, raising our voices to declare no kings.
Joining us now, actor and activist and cursor, Robert Niro. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You know, when you look at and hear from all the folks that were out on the streets yesterday, young and old, white and black, from across the political spectrum, small towns and big cities, what do you think that tells you about the difference that we have now and kind of the resistance that's growing and where we started in January?
It tells me that I'm very happy to see that, because we need much more of it going forward, because that's the only thing that the politicians are going to recognize. They either face the wrath of Trump or the wrath of the people. And they have to be more afraid of the wrath of the people and realize this is not good. I better strap on my balls and do something about it.
Do you think they got that message, that's going to resonate with them as the week comes into?
It has to. We can't let up. Cannot let up on him, because he is not going to leave the White House. He does not want to leave the White House. He will not leave the White House. Anybody thinks he'll do this, he'll do that, is just deluding themselves. The Republicans, most of all, because they know, but they're going along with it. It's a classic bully situation. We see it, and there's no other. To face a bully, you have to face him and fight it out and back him off and back him down. That's the only way this is going to work.
Yeah. You know, speaking of strapping on balls, there seems to be only one candidate in the New York City mayoral race who is willing to do that and who has been critical of President Trump right now. Have you decided who you're voting for yet next month?
I don't know, but I have thought of the thing that I like about Hamdani is that he's young, he's smart, and he means well. You know, he's not a mean person. He's not a bad person. He'll have to make decisions. There'll be compromises, like all politicians, like everybody who is in a position of making decisions that somebody's not going to be happy. But at the end of the day, I feel that I think at this point, I don't know enough yet to go further, but that he will have, he could be somebody that would be the right choice.
But you have some reservations about him?
I don't even have a reservation. I don't know, and I don't want to say even reservation. I don't know.
You said earlier, Mr. De Niro, about the president. He will not leave the White House. This is where you and I are on the same wavelength, because I've long thought.
No way. He will not. We see it. We see it all the time. He will not want to leave. He set it up with his. I guess he's the Goebbels of the cabinet. Stephen Miller. He's a Nazi. Yes, he is, and he's Jewish, and he should be ashamed of himself.
Well, I was asking this question to get to the point. You know, kings think that they should rule forever. Let me put up something that the president posted last night on X. He writes, "We're built different. Have a good night, everyone." And look at what he puts up there. He and J.D. Vance as, what is that, king and queen? King and king? I don't know. You know, above, once again, putting a sombrero on the head of House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and then adding Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer to the fun by giving him a sombrero. Your reaction to that?
It's all nonsense. We know it's all racist. It's all, I mean, that's what he appeals to. That's what Trump is. Everything is, what you see is what you get. It's not going to change with him. Everything. He's just, the point is we have to keep fighting and pushing until he is out. Period. There's no other way. He's not going to want to leave the White House. What is he facing? He's facing certain things, no matter what the Supreme Court. They're going to find a way to go after him for what he's done, all the awful, monstrous things that he's done. You know. I don't see any. He's not going to want to leave. Why should he?
On that point, then, what do you make of the National Guard deployments? He first did it in Los Angeles, then really did it in Washington, D.C., where he has control of the National Guard. But then he's trying to get them into Illinois, into Portland.
Yeah, he's going to get them in to intimidate when the midterms come. It's just this psychologically is going to wear on people. We have to have a defense against that, an oppositional offense. We have to be strong to counter that kind of situation when it comes, because you know that's what he's trying. It's better to neutralize it now than to worry about it later, or try and neutralize a bit of it and be ready, because this is what it is. It's going to be the freedom to walk into the polling station and vote without being intimidated. It's all about intimidation.
Are you certain, though, that people are going to be able to do that? I mean,
we want to make sure that they will go, that they feel comfortable enough to go. They realize that they're going to lose everything if they don't go.
One of the complaints we hear from a lot of people, especially voters, is that there's been sort of a failure of imagination from Democrats to take Trump seriously.
Well, they better take him seriously now. They better take him seriously now.
Have you communicated your displeasure with anyone in the Democratic Party about the way they've handled Trump?
No, I like what Newsom has done, because he's trolled him and he's fought fire with fire, and that's what you have to do. And he called him an invasive species, which is what he is. So he's not. He's a thing that doesn't understand. Trump does not understand anything about humanity, people. He has no empathy. I don't know what he is, but he's an alien, and he wants to hurt this country. It's something deeply psychological in him. He wants to hurt people. He wants to hurt this country. He doesn't care. And what saddens me the most, upsets me the most, is that people follow him and they think and they kiss his ass and they look up to him. And I don't understand it. I don't understand the people in his cabinet, some of them, Rubio, other one, how they can live with themselves after what they've allowed him to do and not stood up. Even walk out of the room when what they did with Zelensky the first time. Rubio, looking at his face, they got the camera on him. If he had balls, he would have walked out.
Mr. De Niro, you're talking about...
And he say, my conscience, I'll lose my job, I'll do things, I can always go on the air, I can always talk later, they'll always listen to me. But look what he stayed. I don't understand it.
Mm-hmm. Mr. De Niro, you talked about the people around President Trump. I want to play something that the White House press secretary said earlier this week about the Democratic Party and get your reaction on the other side.
The Democrat Party's main constituency are made up of Hamas terrorists, illegal aliens, and violent criminals. That is who the Democrat Party is catering to, not the Trump administration and not the White House and not the Republican Party, who is standing up for law-abiding Americans, not just across the country, but around the world.
Language matters, and the way that you
look what
talk
she's
about
saying.
Yeah,
look what she's saying. There's no respect for any kind of truth or anything. It's just it's another world. We have to combat it. There's no way around it. What this kid, I'm just so, I don't even know what.
What do you think what do you think they are trying to signal?
They're trying to signal to the people they reach, and I'm certainly not reaching those people on this program, but maybe through little sound bites and this and that, and the internet and so on. They're trying they're used to seeing Trump do his stuff, and they talk and they listen, and that's the truth to them, because they don't listen to anything else. Somewhere way out in the Midwest, somewhere out in the out west, in certain places, the rural places. That's the truth, because he gets the airtime. And I think that we need more airtime, just more push against, and not. I wish that you can't do this in some ways, but that the news media could find ways to kind of ignore or tamp down nonsense from Trump. It's just total nonsense. But those people out there listen to it and assume if it can be on the air and it's out there, it's the truth.
Mr. De Niro, we are in what is today, 19th? We are 19 days into the government shutdown. Picking up on what Jackie was asking about in terms of Democrats and messaging, the Democrats have not provided any votes for the CR to reopen the government because they have been hammering away at health care, both the extension of the Obamacare subsidies, but also the cuts to healthcare that are coming as a result of the big, beautiful law. How do you view the way Democrats are handling the messaging, but also handling the tactics behind this shutdown?
There's something I like Hakeem Jeffries. I like Schumer, Adam Schiff. They're all great, strong. I like what Letitia James is doing. She's saying, this is it. I will not be taken down by this person. I am not afraid of him. And God bless her for that. Mm-hmm. And that's how other people have to be. I saw a thing about ICE going in and getting some lady, a black woman, who was saying, she was really on. I was on the news. I was watching it yesterday. Somebody sent it to me. She laid it in, and those ICE guys, they knew that she was right, and they better not mess with her. And that's what you need, people who are saying, I've had enough of this. And we've all had enough. It's right in front of us. People have to stand up, do it nicely, peacefully, and all that. You don't want to give him an excuse to do what we all say he would want to do, and call it the Insurrection Act and all that. So,
for a man who lived his entire life bending rules, buying silence, and suing his way out of trouble, being told no was more than defeat. It was exposure. He thought the courts would protect him. After all, he'd stacked them himself. But the thing about power is that it believes its own myth until reality breaks through. One by one, judges, even the ones he'd handpicked, started ruling against him. They quoted the Constitution instead of cable news. They treated him not like a king, but like a defendant. And suddenly, the showman ran out of stage. That's when the rage began. He attacked them all, called them corrupt, biased, enemies of the people. But the truth is, he wasn't afraid of injustice. He was afraid of accountability. Because accountability doesn't bend to charm or threat. It's cold, procedural, boring, and unstoppable. It's the one thing that can't be bullied. Every courtroom became a mirror he couldn't break. Every ruling stripped away the myth he'd sold, that power makes you untouchable. And as the verdicts rolled in, civil, criminal, financial, America got to see something it hadn't seen in years. A system remembering what it was built for. Maybe that's why it mattered. Not because the judges were heroes. They weren't. They were just doing their jobs. But that's exactly what made it powerful. In an age of noise and spectacle, professionalism became rebellion. Integrity became resistance. And in those quiet moments, as gavels fell and lawyers argued, democracy found its pulse again. Trump always believed he could rewrite reality if he shouted loud enough. But law doesn't listen to volume. It listens to evidence. And when the shouting stopped, what was left were documents, signatures, and truths that didn't care about politics. That's how power ends, not in flames, but in paperwork. And maybe that's the final irony. The man who built his empire on television was finally undone by transcripts.